Hello, good morning. Welcome to live drive. Normally I do this on Saturday mornings on my way to CrossFit. Yesterday I did not go to CrossFit because it was my daughter's birthday, and the night before we stayed up till about 2 in the morning completely redoing her room. She got a new bedroom for her birthday, so new paint, like everything new. So I didn't feel like going in the morning because I was tired. But now I am on my way to go see a client, and it's the perfect amount of time to come on. So I see clients in my home. I see clients where I always tell people I always see you wherever you're comfortable. If you're comfortable meeting in your home, if you want to do it over Zoom. I know a lot of people asking me like what it's like to work with me or how I work. Now I'm a certified hypnotist. I'm certified in EFT. I'm a certified health coach. I'm an intuitive empath. So each session is different. Sometimes, depending upon whatever issue it is that you're coming to see me about, we could hit on all of those things. Some people are more grounded in scientific, logical techniques, and so we go down more of that route. And some people are far more into the spiritual aspect, so we go into that. It really is just I read the situation, whatever the client is comfortable with, and it's always intuitively led by the client. You are the boss. You're in charge. Most likely we always do some EFT though. I feel like that's really important. I always tell people, I've said it I think like 3 times this week, that EFT is the future of therapy. EFT is the future of mental health. It's like the free energy that's out there, right? There are devices that create free energy, suppressed by Tesla, or suppressed from Tesla. I read an interesting thing that Donald Trump's uncle, was the one that opened and had possession of Tesla's secret vault with all of his notes and everything. I thought that was interesting. Anyway, EFT is, I believe, is the future of mental health, and it's going to be, I predict in the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to pop up like yoga studios everywhere. So I feel like it's part of my purpose to share that. Some people, it resonates with them, some people doesn't, but I just like to plant that seed in all of my clients. So I want to talk about Pisces season right now. There has been a lot of dreaming, a lot of manifesting in dreams, a lot of lucid dreaming going on. And so Pisces season is from February 18th, so we just entered it, and then there was a full moon on Thursday, and it goes until March 20th. So what does that mean, like Pisces season? So Pisces are the fish. Fish are very sensitive. If you think about fish in water, their scales and their skin is so sensitive that they can feel predators, or they can feel things like within feet around them. So they're very intuitive, sensitive beings. And my daughter is a Pisces, and it's almost like as a young child, it's explosive emotion. And so a lot of people are experiencing just really crazy, vivid dreams, and you can use your dreams to manifest. You can set an intention before you go to bed, and do this right as you're about to close your eyes. I know a lot of people go on their phones, watch Netflix, all those things in bed, and a lot of people are like, oh, I don't dream. Well, there's ways to develop your dreaming muscle, per se, I guess. And one of them is to use your bed just for sleeping. So don't do homework in your bed. Don't eat in your bed. Treat your bed as a throne, like worship your bed. So I know it's hard for a lot of people not to watch TV or, you know, reading. Like, try and, like, if you watch TV or you look at your phone or on your computer in your bed, like, take a step, like, eliminate the devices and just read. Or watch TV and turn it off at a certain time and then read and try and get closer and closer to that. Like, 20 minutes, like, when you're still not completely asleep or not completely tired, before you're ready to, like, close your eyes and put your head on the pillow, 20 minutes of nothing, and just lay there and think about the day. If there was something that happened that was sticky or, you know, negative throughout your day, unpack it and put it in a box and put it at the end of your bed so you don't take that with you. There's lots of techniques that you can use to, like, develop your dream muscle, but set an intention of what you want to dream about, what you want to manifest in your dreams, and see what happens. And then the most important thing, but one of the things that's really important about it is to write it down in the morning. So even if you wake up in the middle of the night and you remember a dream, I know it's, like, the hardest thing to do to, like, you know, 4 o'clock in the morning to get a pen and paper and write it down, but you're more likely to remember it if you write it down right when you had it. And again, when you sleep, you go through 4 stages of sleep. And you go through those 4 stages, like, multiple times, like 8 to 9 times, depending on how long you sleep, but 8 to 9 times. And so that's why sometimes you're like, oh, I was having this one dream and then just almost like morphed into this other dream. So it's probably you're going through that cycle and you're picking back up, because you dream in the REM state, which is the beginning of your sleep and the lightest stage of your sleep. And the REM state is your brain in the REM stage of sleep is very similar to the stage or the trance of hypnosis. So they're very similar, like the brainwave patterns are very, very similar. So you can do, like, set that intention. That's one way to manifest in your dreams. And so I've had a couple of experiences this past week with manifesting, and it's hard for me to go into great detail about them because some of them have to do with clients, and I don't like to share any anything about clients is confidential. And then another one is about, I mean, they're kind of related. They kind of piggybacked on top of each other. It was really cool. Another one is, another thing is I can't be real detailed about because it's something I've been working on for a while. I'm not quite ready to talk about it, but essentially I've been waiting for communication from someone about setting up an interview for this organization that I've been interested in becoming a member of, essentially, for a very long time. And I'm in the process, but it'd been a long time, and I was, like, waiting, and I was trying to, like, step back and not have any, preconceived notions about or expectations about how it was going to show up. And so I had started doing that, like, thing that we all do, like, when something that you are working on manifesting isn't showing up in the way that you think it's supposed to, you keep checking, right? So I kept checking my email, wasn't showing up, kept checking, like, my spam, maybe it went to spam, like all those things that we do. I know that you do them, I do them. And listen, we're all a work in progress, you know what I mean? Like, the stuff that I talk about, like, there are things that I do, but we're all work in progress. Like, there's no finish line in this experience, right? It's just an ever evolving process. And we all got stuff to work on, and, like, if you don't have stuff to work on, then what is that? You're dead? Like, I don't know. But so I have a client who had an experience, and I had a connection with this kind of aha moment she had, and I wanted to ask a friend to help me out with it, to help me help this client. And it was somebody that I've been friends with for a while, but I don't know. It's like they don't live in Virginia, so it's like a long distance, like, comment here and there, but it's not like a close friend. Anyway, so, and it was kind of a big request. It wasn't just like a small favor. It was like a big, it was a pretty big thing to ask them to put themselves out there. and make this request. So I was like, whatever, I'm gonna do it. Inspired, messy action. So I went ahead and I was like, okay, this feels good to ask. And I prefaced it or pre-framed it with like, you know, I always say like, you know, if this isn't aligned with you, or, you know, if you don't embody this, like, please feel free to say no. So I presented them with the request, and immediately they replied like, yeah, absolutely. And I was like, oh my God, that felt so good. Like, I just asked, you know, like, it was scary and I was nervous, but it was exciting. And I was like, that feels good. It feels good to ask, you know, what's the worst that can happen? You know, that someone says no. So, and they replied with a yes. And it felt, it just felt really, really good. And within, 45 minutes after that, my phone, my notifications are off. So I just got a ding that I got or my phone vibrated. And I looked at it and I didn't recognize the number, and the person, you know, left me a voicemail, and it was a voicemail from this organization that I had been waiting like months to hear from, or weeks to hear from. And of course, right, like, the universe, you ask, you make a wish, and the universe delivers, but not in the way that you expect it, right? I was expecting or waiting for an email, and I got a phone call. So oftentimes when we manifest things, we have to let go of the preconceived idea or notion of how it's going to show up, because it's going to show up, you know, in different ways. The universe is going to manifest it in different ways. So that is kind of the example of, you know, manifesting with using your dreams. Now, I did not use my dreams to do that manifesting, but it's one of the ways to ask the universe for something, and to kind of an example of like letting go of how it's supposed to show up. And it's also a really good example of like following your highest excitement. So I followed my highest excitement in asking this person to help me, and it felt really good. And then within that same energy, the universe delivered what it was that I was myself trying to manifest. So those two things have nothing to do with each other, but they don't have to. It doesn't have to make sense, right? And so this is a really good lead into the next free training that I'm going to do. I get a lot of requests to talk more about the formula, follow your highest excitement to the best of your ability without any expectation of its outcome. So I'm going to do a live training tomorrow. I don't know which time. And so if there's interest, I can do this in a Zoom call. If there's 2 to 4 people or more. I feel like 2 to 4 is a good number, because it creates diversity and like people asking questions and feeling comfortable in that space. And going over deep into, so that the formula that I just stated is 3, but there's actually 7 parts of it. And so I'll go into all of those parts. And this is a formula. This is physics. This is not woo-woo. It's going to sound woo-woo, but it's not. It's all based on quantum physics and law of attraction, how the universe actually works. And my windshield wipers won't stop. The hardest one for people to embody is that excitement, right? A lot of people come to me, or I get a lot of messages about like what's the difference between excitement or anxiety, or I can't determine the difference between excitement and anxiety. And so I'll go into that, like learning the clues in your body, learning to really sink and drop into your body when you're, and this is a practice, right? This isn't just like I'm driving my car, willy-nilly. Like, this is a ritual, a formula, a practice. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. If you've taken my emotional freedom course that I have, I go into it a lot in that. I talk a lot about my background and about how I came about this formula. It's not my formula. It's one of my mentors' formulas that I follow, and about how following this formula completely changed my life. And And so if you're interested in that emotional freedom challenge, it's 7 days. I did it in 7 days, but it's 7 it's 7 units essentially. It's $21. There's like so much information in that. But so I'll go deeper into all of those, the 7 following the formula. That's what it's called, just the formula. And I can do that in a live here, or I can do it in a Zoom. If you're interested in the Zoom, just leave me a comment or, send me a message and we can do it that way, or I can just do it in a live. There was something else I wanted to talk about. It's eluding me right now. Well, I guess I just didn't need to talk about it. So that's all for right now. I'm here at my client's house and it's pouring rain. It's nice and warm out though. Well, it's not nice and warm out, but it's definitely warmer than the last week or so, with all the ice and snow. And if you have any questions about manifesting in your dreams, it doesn't have to be difficult. You don't have to follow, you don't have to jump on one leg and stage your room and all that stuff. Just, so here, I can give you steps if you want to start manifesting tonight. So there's also a full moon, a Virgo full moon, on Thursday. And we're moving out of the age of Pisces and into the age of Aquarius. Now I have a very base level of astrology. But the more that I embody my astrology, the more I embody my human design. If you know anything about human design, I highly recommend. I left a link in one of the posts to free charts for your birth chart and for your human design. I highly recommend. It's fascinating stuff. And once you start embodying it, everything flows, everything moves easier. And that the resistance, the resistance eases. Anytime you feel anxiety about something, it's your body, it's your higher mind, it's the universe letting you know that that is not your path. Move away from that. So tonight, if you want to manifest in your dreams, make your bed in the morning. First of all, make your bed beautiful, right? Do you need a new comforter? Like, do you have nice pillows? I had really bad lower back problems and I changed my pillow and it was like, I haven't had them since then. So the pillows are very important. So make your bed like worship your bed, like make it like a throne, a throne to sleep. So do that and then set the intention of what time you want to be asleep. And 20 to 30 minutes before that, turn off everything. Turn the TV off, put your book away, put your phone away, and just lay in your bed and if you're not used to doing this, you're gonna have crazy, like your mind is like monkey mind is gonna go crazy. Let it do that, okay? In hypnosis, part of one of the most difficult things that hypnosis clients find is relaxing their mind to go into trance. So I always tell them, like, you're gonna have crazy thoughts. Your mind is gonna like throw all this stuff at you because you're finally quiet. You don't have your phone in front of you. You're not being bombarded with all information, right? And your mind is gonna be like, they're listening and now's my opportunity to just throw everything I got at them. Just let it happen. And then when it's going to feel uncomfortable, right? Let it feel uncomfortable. Let it. And when it starts to, lean into it a little bit. And when it starts to feel uncomfortable and like sit in that uncomfortableness until it's a little bit more uncomfortable, and you'll start to feel it, like you'll start to feel space between it. It'll start to loosen up and then lean back in that comfortableness, lean back a little bit and see what happens. Okay. And then imagine there's a box or a basket or something at the end of your bed and just visually put those thoughts in that container with a lid, close it up and just say, I hear you. You've got my attention. I'm going to put you, we're going to go to bed tonight. You can go to sleep over here and I'll come back and address you in the morning. We'll address it, but we're just going to do it in the morning. And then lay down and set an intention. What do you want to manifest? What do you want to dream about? It doesn't have to be about getting something or manifesting something. Manifesting doesn't necessarily have to be about getting anything too. What do you want to dream about? Where do you want to go in your dreams? Do you want to astro travel? Do you want to go visit someplace on Earth? Like, do that. Like, I really want to go to a church in France, the Chateau Rennes in the south of France, right? So, like, set an intention of someplace you want to go, or just see where it takes you. And just tell your unconscious mind, whoever you want to talk to, however you visually represent your dream state. Like, are you a visual person? Are you an auditory person? Or are you a kinesthetic person, feeling, right? We all learn, we all have different ways that is executive of how we learn. Some are all three. Tap into that and think about what your dream state, how your dream state represents to you, and talk to them. It's a part of you, right? An ego state, a part's work. Acknowledge it. Give it some attention, right? If you don't dream or you don't remember your dreams, talk to it and say, you know, just let it know. And so set the intention before you go to sleep. And then, you know, put your head down and go to sleep and see what happens. If you wake up in the middle of the night, so that the witching hour is between 3 and 6 a.m. And depending upon, you know, your train of thought or what belief systems you buy into, the witching hour is when the veil is the thinnest, spiritually. Scientifically, it's when most of the people around you are asleep, right? Not in the world, right? Because we all have different time zones, but it's when the energy of your community is asleep. And so the electromagnetic fields that everybody produces are calmed down, right? There's less chatter, there's less noise, there's less movement, there's less energy bouncing around, and there's a stillness, and that veil is thin. So if you are in touch with that intuitive nature, that thin veil, you might tend to wake up during that, because it's kind of your intuition of like, oh, this is an important time to be awake. This is when some important work can be done. And your internal body clock, your intuitive nature is waking you up to do that work. So if you wake up at that time, doesn't necessarily mean anything per se, but it's just that that's the witching hour. So if you do wake up, you remember your dreams, write it down. If you don't wake up in the middle of the night, I envy you, because I always wake up at that time. So does my daughter, who is a Pisces. If you wake up in the morning and just write your dreams down. And even if it's not a full dream, just anything you remember. And it maybe necessarily have, I just saw like a weird, even if it's not like a full storyline, if you just remember something, a feeling, anything about it, write it down, and see where that takes you. If you have any questions, let me know. The more I learn about astrology, I share with you. Tomorrow, I am personally doing a deep dive into the Akashic Records. I'm doing a one hour immersion into my Akashic Records. I am, I don't want to say learning, because I've been to the Akashic Records. I'm being called to explore that more. I don't know if that means that I am going to be reading people's Akashic Records. I'm not quite sure where it's taking me. I am very vocal about that. I stopped drinking alcohol in October of 2019. Gosh, time is. Whew. It's funny because I was mentioning that to somebody the other day, and they were like, that's funny, I didn't get the addict vibe from you. And it's true, I'm not. I wasn't an alcoholic per se from like the societal definition of that. I just say that my relationship with alcohol took more than it gave. And so I just stopped, and it was amazing. Something that I'm learning about psychic ability and intuitive, empathic abilities, specifically dealing with the Akashic Records, is when you go, you can read like almost anything you read about the Akashic Records, of how to go into it, how to dip into it, people that dip into it, people that read it, not to drink alcohol to about 2 hours or 24 to 48 hours before you do it, because alcohol blurs your connection, makes it fuzzy. It doesn't give you a strong connection. And I instantly was like, this is maybe why I'm being called to stop drinking, because I did notice, I have noticed that since I stopped drinking, that my intuitive abilities is just like skyrocketed. So I'm going to be doing the immersion into my Akashic Records, and then I'm going to do the training on following your highest excitement. So it should be pretty interesting to see what comes up. So if you're interested in doing the Zoom call, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just pop on here in a live. And if you have any questions that you want answered, following your highest excitement is definitely one of the things that I get asked most about, to go in deeper. If you're interested in working with me one-on-one, people ask me all the time, like, how can I work with you? How do you work? And again, I have one-on-one clients. I have courses you can take. I've been told like 2 or 3 times in the past like week, like, I want to be in your world, but I'm not quite sure how to do that. I don't follow a niche. I don't follow those strategies that, people tell, coaches to follow. It's just none of that ever really felt aligned or worked with me. I don't follow a niche because, I have tools that I can help you with problems, but I'm not going to, those tools can be applied to everybody. So I feel like if I were to niche out into one specific area, like that niching means like I only work with people with anxiety, or I only work with people with sleep issues, or I only work with people who are trying to quit addictions, right? No, I'm not like, that wouldn't be me following my highest excitement. So I have tools and techniques that help a broad spectrum of issues. So I have to go in now, and I will see you all tomorrow.